Nandi. Yeah, so I think sometimes with us women, our husbands probably do something bad to us. It's forgiveness. Forgiveness is the greatest
Medicine,
emotion,
yeah.
way, for your own healing.
Yeah.
Your own healing. You need to forgive first. If you try to heal in any way,
Without
whether
forgiveness.
it's physical, emotional, or mental, if you don't have forgiveness in your heart, you'll never heal. You'll never heal. I am healed because of my forgiving heart, and to forgive first, and then you can love.
Yeah.
I really believe that. If you don't forgive, you talk about love anywhere in the church or what, if your heart is not forgiving,
Yeah.
there's no love.
Believe that.
There is no love. I really believe that. So for me, for all these things that's happened in my life and what I've gone through, divorce, being a single mother, it's just made me stronger. Sometimes I used to think when my ex-husband left and I used to drive back home,
And you drive all the way to Wynandoy?
drive all the way back to Wynandoy, and I used to think my son was still at kindy, and I'm thinking, oh man, how am I going to survive today? I used to pray, I drive home, put the music up, cry all the way home.
I do that.
And then when I get there and I finish the crying, nobody should
Yeah.
see me crying here. So that's how I dealt with it. Everyone deals with it differently, but I think we should not be ashamed of our emotions, how
Yeah.
we can express whatever emotions come, you should express it, Cry, you can cry,
It's amazing on how she's sharing it, because I do that, yeah. And sometimes when you at the traffic light,
Yes.
and I mean, that only happens to me when I'm on my own in the car, which I look forward to. And you're crying your heart out and you're sobbing, and then the car next to you sort of like look at you and say, right, you get this kind of look. But in those moments, I really can relate to what you're sharing this morning, because regardless, I mean, she's a single mom, a survivor of cancer, and everything that she has to go through, and her need is just the same as those that have normal families. Husband and wife, you still have your moments that you just want to, call out to somebody to help you. Some of the things, like at least, Lisa, for us that have partners, we can have somebody to talk to in the physical lessons. But for being a single mom, you just have to be like...
Only talk to God.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, but you know very well, whatever your burdens are, you should just take it to God.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. I mean, people judge me all the time. I'm used to it. I've been judged. And even on Facebook when I post things and some people say bad things to me, which is very few. Most people say nice things, but only few people. But that's it, you can't control that.
Yeah.
But you can control how you feel about it and how you deal with it. So I always say, only God can judge me. You can't judge me, and I don't judge you, don't judge me. I let God to be the judge.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to all these things. Say, why are you playing jazz on Sundays? I said, it's my work. It's my work. It's the same thing. The chef is cooking for the tourists. He's working on a Sunday.
Yeah.
He's feeding them. I'm feeding my family by singing jazz on a Sunday at a hotel, and that's my job, So I said, don't judge me, I don't judge you, let God be my judge. So
it's amazing to come out, I mean, to have all those rebuff on the side.
Yes, always.
And then still have to look after your son.
Yes.
And now you've just shared that your grandchildren are all staying with you, which I'm just hearing for the first time.
Yes.
Like with that 5. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
which means like it take you more closer to God on your
yes,
trust.
You have to ask God for stressless life, because they've all
Stress-free.
They had come and taken over our space.
Yes.
In a way, when we were talking, everything I discussed with my son, we discussed about everything. So I said, look, they are going to move to us. I know they are going to take over our space and your space, but we have to be having the love in our heart because they need us. Where else they going to go to? I'm their grandmother, and you are their uncles. They need to come. So you know, this is how we deal with things, situations. You have to discuss it with your family, and everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
So long as you know the love has to be spread to everyone.
Yeah. And imagine for 15 years you're just on your own.
Yes.
And after that 15 years to have somebody back in,
Yes.
it's quite an adjustment,
Yes.
you know, to
Yes.
adapt to that change.
Not so 15 years, maybe half of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 10
7,
years.
yeah?
Yeah, eight
Yeah.
years, yeah. When we were on our own.
Yeah.
When he had
Oh, yeah,
left.
because of your husband was still around then, eh?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's how your mind is. You have to be strong and staying positive.
Yes.
The positive mind
Yeah.
is very powerful, you know. When you start to think something negative, you just go, get out of my space. I don't need to be negative today. I want to be positive. So when you're positive, everything kind of falls
Yeah.
into place.
Like you just feel everything's going to be
Yes.
okay. Even though you're looking
Yes.
like everything is in disarray,
Yes.
but in your heart you believe
Yes.
it's going to be good.
And I think communication
Yeah.
is very important. Like to talk with your family. A lot of families, maybe they don't discuss things. Like someone is suffering with cancer in the family, they
they
don't.
hide it, yeah.
They hide it. They worry that other people, oh, they got somebody with cancer. No, it's not a death sentence.
Yeah.
Cancer can be cured.
Yeah.
And with a positive mind and positive heart, and everybody caring and kind and working together, that person should be cured.
You know, after you have gone through that, survive, do you ever have any relapse or like anything that takes you back to what it was?
Oh no, no, not. My neurosurgeon told me in Perth, and he said to me, if you get a headache, just take 2 Panadols, and that's all I take. But I need to look after my health. So I watch what I eat, I exercise, I do a lot of physical work. I'm very active, you know, like with us Fijian women. A lot of times when you have the grandkids, talaleka, kotamingo, tu dadambichinga. No, you have to get up and get it yourself. Go outside and wash the pots.
Yeah.
I still do that. I go home, cook the dinner for all my family, give them, feed them, wash the dishes. Sometimes at 11 p.m. at night, it's raining. I go outside and still wash the pots. I wash all the pots, everything packed nicely. The kitchen is nice and clean. Then I can shower and go to bed. My life is like that. I do it because for me, I'm looking after my health.
Yeah.
I'm active. My energy is going. Sometimes I have too much energy. So I have to get rid of this energy. I go and wash the pots at midnight outside just to make myself tired so I can sleep, especially being a single mother.
Yeah. So she can go to sleep.
So I can sleep.
You know, I've noticed every time you come to my office, you say, oh, make sure my milk is soya. So you
Yes.
can just share with us your diet.
Yeah.
I know they may be, I mean, if they're looking at you, oh, let's say 60 plus.
60
You know, what
to
did she do? So
Well-
tell them about your diet.
Me, I'm still eating the same way I was taught in the village.
Okay.
Kanambele,
Healthy.
vakarkara, we plant all that. Bele and tapioca. I just eat the food from the village. I hardly eat out unless somebody else is paying, of course.
There you go.
That's the only time you'll see me eating out, when somebody else is paying. For me, vas lusi lavo, na
Yeah.
lekana tumba,
Yeah.
when I can just cook my mbele vakarkara at home. Sometimes I just buy a roast chicken, maybe from one of the supermarkets, and I take it home. Dosangara chicken tapioca, vadabu na tapioca, mesanga na mbele, ndo mai tumba, and I have domboi every day. Lemongrass. I got lots of patches of lemongrass.
I used to have domboy when my father was alive, and he always make us drink domboy every morning, and even to the extent putting milk in. But the smell of it put me off. Until today, I haven't drank domboy
No,
again.
you
but
better
it's-
drink it.
There you
I'll bring
go.
you some. Na memai tebe kimdoker. I drink every day domboy, throughout the whole day till night. Before I sleep, plus domboy before I sleep.
I should try that.
I really believe it's a medicine. Lemongrass. I mean, it's really good for you. If one day I don't drink it, I'm missing it. Yeah. So if I have coffee, like I hardly have coffee, maybe once or twice.
Or unless somebody's buying it.
Somebody else is buying, I take soy milk. I don't
Okay.
take dairy. I mean, not in milk. I don't take butter unless it's Obella.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I really admire you for that. I can't.
Yes.
I have a problem with my dairy. I love my dairy.
Yeah. Well, I don't, because being a singer, I know for sure that sometimes when you take dairy, it can block, it causes phlegm.
Oh, it's good. See?
It
For
causes
those of you that
phlegm.
sing, yeah,
When
this
you
is-
sing, it causes phlegm that blocks the air passage. So, to me, not to have the phlegm, I just take, because dairy, the
Soy.
soy is soybean.
Yeah.
It's a vegetable
Yeah.
milk. So either that or almond milk. So I've always tried to stay away from dairy products. Some singers, they can take anything and it's okay. But for me, because that's what I'm used to, and I'm conscious
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
so I don't take it. And I like it because I also know that too much fat, you take too much dairy, there's a lot of fat in it too, you can put on. So I've been blessed not having to put on my weight. I think it's being active and the power of the positive mind.
Yeah.
And I really want to encourage the women
Yes,
out there.
please.
Like I always say, health is the
Yeah.
most important thing.
Yeah.
Your health. You can have all the money in the world. Without your good health, you won't be able to enjoy.
Yes.
You know? So take care of number
Yeah.
one is your good health.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were sharing last week. When we are reminding the people for you to go and get your medical check. Eh? Like for Lisa, she never knew, not even suspect that she was going to be having that cancer. Just a simple headache, treating it, you can be saying, oh, no lungo. And then you're treating it mildly, thinking it's just one of those things that come
Yeah.
and it will go away. But only to be told, that you have that. So maybe if she had had her medical check, she could have known that way beforehand, which is, for us, is a learning curve moving
Yes.
forward. And I'll remind us again. I know, like for it okay, the thought to go to the doctor when you are all good, it's like, that's silly. Now, why should we go and see the doctor? We are all good. But balata na lemon kaya tigung go weekend the wrong of it na pepa. There's a lot of people that are dying very young.
Very young.
Very young. In their 20s, in their 30s. And because most of the time we don't even know what we are suffering, the sickness that is in us
Yes.
until it takes us. So it's good to go and have your medical check. Like Siramaya Hospital for Suva, they do that. And other public hospitals, they would be able to do that if you say, okay, I cannot afford to go to the private doctor. But for those of you who can afford to go to the private doctor, or even in some organizations, it's part of your insurance policy, ask whether they can do that check. And please take your family and take your children. Because it's always good to know. I've shared too much about mine, right down to my grandchildren. And it has changed the lunch that I make for them. It has changed the meal that I serve on the table. Yes. And I always tell my grandchildren, you are very blessed to know all these things when you're still growing up and in your age. Compared to me,
Growing up. Yeah.
growing up, and they already know that. So, like, they know what is not good for them to eat. Like, unlike for us, growing up, you grab anything that you can eat, and when you have your own children, it's like fast.
Yes.
Fast food seems to be the only answer. And we had one of our senior pastor who came in from the Marshall Islands. He actually stays there with a wife who is a nurse, and with the family. So he came. And my husband actually called him up during the church service to share, because he came all the way from the Marshall Islands. And one thing that his student shared, and he said, he's a nurse by profession as well. And when he went to the Marshall Islands for this particular job, they have to have medical check. Not until he had that medical check, then he was told that he had TB, And that's what he said. If I haven't had, if I didn't take that medical check, if I didn't have to take the check, I wouldn't have known, And even though he's a nurse.
Yes.
So it's another reminder for us. Please, do take the time. For me, in the workplace, if I see one of the staff continue to say, oh, I'm coming in late because I'm taking my father to the hospital. And, I'm coming in late because my daughter is very sick. I don't just take it like, okay, it's one of those things. I keep track. If it becomes too common, I think one of our staff last week, I said, look, I've noticed it's quite a fair bit of time you say that you're coming in late because you're taking your father to the hospital. So I asked, how old is your dad? So I offered to get him, checked on a medical check. And it's amazing. That check reveals a lot of things that can make them live right and to prolong their life a little bit. Because if not, like you fixing the problem daily, just to take away that pain, but the sickness is
Still
way
there.
in, you know, and it's still there. And it goes for all other children. If I continue to see that happen, and I said, okay, what's wrong with your daughter? What's wrong with your son? Sorry, I know it's a personal life, but I want to ask these questions because I see, like, if you continue to take your child to the hospital for the same sickness for a fair bit of time, you should be able to take the time and, you know, look in and ask yourself what is actually wrong. You cannot just be taking your child or your wife or your husband just for the treatment and coming back home. If it happens far too often, you need to stand still and start asking those questions, whether you need a medical check to really know and find out what is the reason, you know, that is happening, so you can fix it. Some diseases, like we always say, they are reversible. You can change them just by correcting, like what she said, you know, correcting her diet. And she grew up in the village. So it's not hard for her to do that. But for most of us that grow up in the cities or grow up in towns, we grew up with the environment that we're growing up in. And then when we are told certain things from the doctor, we struggle. But for people like Lisa, who come from the village, they don't struggle because it's always been their lifestyle. They may drift or detour a bit, enjoy the city life, but when they're told, you know, of such things, the conviction, go back to the humble beginning. And I mean, that's your life. But for us, it becomes a struggle. Like to even go without red meat. No,
I would go off red meat every so often. I'd go off red meat, just take chicken and fish. But even now, my diet, red meat is luxury. I'll only eat red meat if I'm getting invited to a house and they cook red meat and it's there. I'll eat it. But for me to buy it, first of all, it's very expensive. Beef and lamb is very expensive, and pork. So I just eat the cheapest form of protein. You know, chicken and fish and eggs. That's my protein.
And I heard you have your fish farm as well.
Yeah, but at the moment it's not working. It's empty. During COVID, it was going, so I've emptied it, and I haven't put water back in. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually my pump broke down because I normally pump the water in from the river.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping I will ask the government to buy a pump because my fish pond feeds the whole community in my area. During COVID, everyone was eating from my pond. Yeah, so all the communities, they would come. We want
free?
to come.
Like you just give...
We want to come and fish. Okay, bring your cane knives. This is how we deal with it. Bring your cane knives. Wherever it cares and go, dogay siwa, catch your dinner. So only 10 fish per person.
Man, that's amazing.
Sarakot nga may nonra bamboo rods, ara may siwa. Nito yasasa. And all my band boys and other band boys from other hotels that were out of work, I was kind of taking care of the whole of the Fiji
like
Islands.
Mother Teresa?
The whole of the Fiji Islands. But
I haven't been to your setup, but I know you've invited me too many times. But I heard
wait till I get
beautiful.
a new fish what you call the pump.
Okay.
I need to get a pump to pump the water back in, and then
How many
fisheries.
How many acres of land do you have there in
At the
Wainandoi?
moment, I've got 1 freehold acre and 2 acres lease. So the lease land, that's where I have got the fish pond.
All right.
Yeah, I've got my home there.
You built your house there?
Yes, I should tell you how I got there. When I got married to my ex-husband when was this? 2003 we got married. And I was 43 years old. And 2003, Alice Tambete, she was the CEO for the Fiji Sports Council.
Okay.
So my ex-husband used to do a lot of work for her, like consultation, because my ex-husband is like a sports scientist. So he said, oh, look, after we got married, I'll give you one of the houses for the Sports Council behind USP. You two can stay there for 1 year, free rent. After that, you have to move. So I said to my ex, we need to find land. I don't want to rent anymore. I want to build on our own land. So he said, okay. So I met Ron Getty. You know, Ron Getty was the owner of the Spice Farm in Wainandoi. He was writing, part-time writer for Fiji Times at the time. So he used to tell me, Lisa, come and buy your land from me. I've subdivided, I got land. You come and buy from me. Stop renting. You need to get your own land. So I said, okay. And one week, my ex-husband went to Cook Islands or somewhere, I can't remember. So I had $500 in my pocket. We didn't have a car. I caught the bus. I said, today I'm going to look for land because our 1 year period is almost over. So we can't live here anymore. We have to find a place. Got the bus to Wainandoi. Ron Getty was there. Oh, my friend, you arrived. Yes, I'm looking for my land. Now, where's my land? I got my deposit. Oh, good. How much deposit you got? $500. And he said, well, that's the lowest deposit I ever get from anybody. I said, I don't care. Take it. Give my receipt. Show me my land. That's how I got to Wainandoi.
Positive mind.
So that's how I got to Wainandoi.
$500 deposit for real?
Yes. So he said, okay. I said, we have to wait for my ex-husband, for my husband. He's coming back. Then we can talk, But take the deposit anyway. Show me my land. So that's how he showed me my land. And then I told him, I've got our land. Oh, and I've paid a deposit. Wow. How much? I said, $500. Well.
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, who gets that kind of deal?
So when he came back, I organized Fiji Development Bank for him because he was earning a regular income, unlike us.
Unlike us, the entertainers,
we never have a regular income. It's always very irregular. But it's
good income, though.
Yes, it's surprising how we've survived all this time. Eh? I give it to the industry, especially the women in this industry. It's a struggle. It's a never-ending struggle. And you really have to have that strong personality, strong heart, positive mind to be able to come out of this struggle, And I really believe, and I tell all my friends, God puts people in your path to enhance your life. All you have to do is have the right attitude and a good heart.
Yes.
And God will place somebody in your life, in your path.
Yeah.
And I believe, my ex-husband came across my path for a purpose.
Yes.
For a purpose to enhance and giving me another child. I never believed at 47 and a half I would have another child. And he's my life right now. Yeah, he's my lifeline. And I thank God, how he's prepared me for this time.
Yeah.
And have my son at this time to be my companion, And now I have another 5.
Another 5 grandchildren.
Another 5. And I love it. I'm enjoying my life with all my full house, And
I remember after COVID when you came and you say, I sort of like subdivide and list it out. And I helped my fellow musicians, with a little money then you're sending them. And it's just amazing the heart you have. That even in that moment, like when you have your own need, but you were looking out for other people's needs. And to have that pond and share, but I can't get over that. 10 minimum, 10 fish minimum.
10 fish, but wait first, whatever I do. But you have to teach them that everything comes with hard work.
Yeah.
I didn't get all this, I had to go and make sure I get people. I talk with fisheries, and fisheries department has been very good. So every time I said, oh, my pond is ready, I need some babies. So
that's a tilapia.
Yeah, so they'll come and inspect first, and then next thing they'll bring the babies. How many you want? Oh, maybe 5,000. So
amazing.
Yeah, so it's good. I mean, it's up to you how you're going to spread out your thoughts and mind and work and keep on working and keep on working without grumbling, without complaining. A lot of people, they do things and they complain.
It's a lot of whinging.
Oh, I'm tired. Oh, and I see the young people complaining about being tired. I said, what's that? What is tired? I thank God for the energy.
True. It's just amazing. I mean, you can't believe you're hearing a 63-year-old. It's just amazing. And I remember, I think it went viral a bit when she came in and spoke on a Queen Yuma. You know what she did? I don't know whether that was captured. Before she spoke, she did her press up and everything on there. You talk about 60s, and she was doing press up on the stage to show us that we need to be active, healthy,
Health is the most
and doing
important.
exercise. Okay, sanga wala nga nito ko na kweda ka basanga ko ngeda ka na press up ko na dela ni stage ya. I'm talking about somebody who's over 60 to be doing that, and it's all up to the mind. It's all about how you look at life. Yeah, how you look at life. So we want to be that voice of encouragement to your life from Liza today. Yeah. Like I could share the same thing, but when it comes from her, that's it. It nails it. whatever reason that you have, whatever excuse that you may have this morning, if she can survive,
There's no excuse.
Yes, you can.
No
so
excuse.
It's the power of your mind.
That's
Today, try and renew your mind.
That's
Just work on your mind. Forget about everything else. Forget about trying to doll yourself up or do anything else. Just sit and work on your mind. Just go back to your mind and ask yourself, where am I? What state of mind do you have? Whether it's negative, whether you've given up on life, because it's very important, your mind status, because this drives you.
That's right.
We can have everything and we're all good in our heart and everything here, but when we are weak in our mind and our mind is negative, you're not doing anything. You've actually given up on life. But you need to change your mindset. You may lack a lot of things here. You lack the finances, you lack your partners, you lack food on the table, you lack in so many ways. But when your mind is strong, I can tell you today, I can guarantee you, you can be a survivor. You'll stand up and you'll make it work. Because no matter what is in front of you, it will work. Because your mind tells you that it's going to work. But if you have everything and your mind is not with you, or your mind is not positive and you're negative, you can have everything with you. I look and say, no, nothing is wrong. You have everything, but you're not making it. Why? No. Because of the state of your mind. So mind is very important, like what Lisa is sharing with us today. And not only that, in the physical, she had the brain operation. You had that.
Yes.
So in anybody else to be affected, it would be you.
Yes.
When it comes to the mind. But
I had to learn to walk again properly.
Really?
Yes. I have, because of my balance it was imbalanced with the brain. I had to learn how to talk again properly. I was warned by my neurosurgeon. Something will come up here, but something else will come out from here. So I was saying things that was disconnecting with my head. So that's why I had to go back to the school with Master Ete, and I was grateful as well. I was picked to be the manager for the Fiji women's volleyball team. And so taking them out of Fiji to compete in the World Cup finals, final rounds, to New Zealand, Thailand, Korea, and China. Amazing. Yeah, so I was taking that was just 9 months after my operation. But all those things that happened, I think God had prepared all those things for my healing. Being with young people in sports that's very physical, and I had to also train and stretch with them. It was helping me as well in my healing. So I think when we go through some things that is like a no hope, you need to, in your heart, you want to get healed. You need to want it. And in your mind, like you said, you have to be strong. So all that is in a package that you have to do. And also with the women suffering from cancer, you need to go, if you know something is wrong with you, like your breast is getting sore, just take yourself to the hospital. Go to a doctor. Early detection is always the best advice. Don't wait till late. Early detection, something can be done. So, so just make sure that you go, take yourself to the doctor. And don't dilly-dally and say, oh, no, I'll go tomorrow, Yeah,
there's a lot of
go
cases.
Today.
I had one of my friends as well on how, she was a very good prayer warrior. And the husband is a pastor. But she hid it from her family. Never shared it with the husband, never shared with her children. And it was during COVID when she came to the CWM hospital, only to realize it was on the very late stage.
Oh, my goodness.
And she passed on, Like you can be very well educated.
Yes.
But when it comes to that fear, because fear can be, it can affect no matter how educated you are, or you can be from the village. That fear can steal your life.
I think the fear and also the worry. The worry about what other people are going to say. Some people are ashamed that they are suffering from cancer. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It can happen to anyone. Cancer does not differentiate. It can happen to you, it can happen to anyone. Anyone at all. I never believed it happened to me, but it did. So just make sure that, you just go take yourself if you know something's wrong. And don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed that you have it.
Because now when you're saying it, even by talking about it and being bold about it, it's your healing process as well.
That's a healing, yes. Healing.
Well, that's for you, because a lot of us, we don't want to talk about it. More so for the It Okay. We don't want to talk about these things.
But they should.
And I believe it's timely. Having Lester with us this morning, to be bold to talk about these things. And sometimes we hide it from each other. And even when it's known in the family, you don't even want other families to know. Like it becomes a secret. And you want to keep it for yourself. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you have cancer. It doesn't matter if you have kidney failure. It doesn't matter if you are diabetic. It doesn't matter. Because this is just the way it is. What matters is how you're going to handle it, how you're going to rise above it, how you're going to conquer it, and how you're going to fight it. And that depends on every individual today. And listen to Lester today on how she kept on referring to, trusting in God. And I believe that. I am a Christian as well, and I believe in God. And I know this program, like we say,